myself Dr. Hemakumar. In this session, I will be speaking about data types available in C++. C++ data types are in three ways. First one is primary data types, derived data types, and third is user-defined data types. In the primary data types, there are 6 different data types that are integer, char, float, double, bool, wide. This is also called as a primitive data types. And then in derived data types, we have arrays, pointers, references. And in user-defined data types, structures, union, class, enumerations are under the user-defined data types. Integer data type. This data type is used to store whole numbers. Those numbers do not contain the decimal part. The size of the integer depends upon word length of a machine, that is whether it is a 16-bit or 32-bit or 64-bit machines. On a 16-bit machine, the range of integer numbers is 32,768 to 32,000 plus 32,767. Integer variables are declared by keyword int. C++ provide control over range of integer values and stored space occupied by those values through the data type, that is short, integer, int and long int in a both signed and unsigned forms. Character data types CHAR. A single character can be defined as a character data type. Character data type occupy 1 byte of a memory for storage of characters. The qualifier signed or unsigned can be applied on char data type. Char is a keyword used for declaring variables. The size and range of character data types on 16 bits or 32-bit machines. Floating point data types. Floating point numbers represent a real numbers with 6-digit precision occupying 4 bytes of memory. Floating point variables are declared by the keyword float, F-L-O-A-T, float. Double floating point data type occupy 8 bytes of memory using 14 digits of precision. Those are also known as double precision numbers. Variables are declared by the keyword double. The long double refers to the floating point data type that is offered more precious than double precision. Boolean data types. The Boolean or logical data type is a data type having two values, usually denoted true and false, intended to represent the true value of the logic and Boolean algebra. It is named after George Boolean, who first defined an algebraic system of logic in the mind, 19th century. The Boolean data type is the primary result of conditional statements which allow different actions and changes control flow depending on whether the programmer specify Boolean condition evaluate true or false. Wide type. The wide type has no values. This is usually used to specify the return type of function. The type of function said to be wide when it does not return any value to the calling function. This is also used for declaring general purpose pointers called as wide pointer. The size and range of the basic data types are: for integer size, if you go for short, typically it use 2 bytes. If you go for int, typically it go for 4 bytes, and long it go for that 4 to 8 bytes, and long it typically is 8 bytes. These all are in C++. Floating point size. The float, if you use the float data type, it's use the 4 bytes. If you double, use the 8 byte. Long double typically runs for 8, 16 or 32, 12 bytes capacity. Character types, typically character is 1 byte. Boolean type is bool is a 1 byte. Integer types. Int represent integer value. The size can vary but is typically 4 bytes. For example, int age equal to 25. So age is a variable which can hold value of 25. It is holding. The integer as declared as short represents a small integer, usually is a 2 byte. For example, short temperature equal to -10. You can declare it like this. Long represent large integer, usually 4 or 8 bytes. Long distance, long a distance is a variable equal to like that example. You can also write long represent can large integer, typically 8 byte, which can hold up to 11 digits of numbers. Unsigned integer type. Unsigned integer is a non-negative integer. Size is typically 4 bytes. Unsigned integer population, for example, we can declare like this: unsigned int, so the variable name as a population equal to like that. Unsigned short non-negative small integer, usually is a 2 byte. Unsigned short small numbers can declare. Unsigned long non-negative large integers, usually it is 4 to 8 bytes. So this unsigned long can carry up to a 10 digits of number. Unsigned long. So if you declare that any variable using a long, unsigned long, non-negative even integer will be stored, which is typically 8 byte. Unsigned can use up to a 15 digits of numbers. Floating point types. Float represents single precision floating point number, usually of 4 bytes. For example, float variable name equal to 3.14 f. Double represent a double precision floating point number, usually 8 byte up to 8 byte. For example, as shown in this, we have written double is a variable equal to 2.7182818248, like that you can decide the numbers. And long double represents the extended precision floating point numbers. Size can vary from 8, 12 or 16 byte. The long double the variable, if you decide, means you can extend lot of number 3, like an example 3.14159265358979328 3846 L. So character type represent the single characters, it is a 1 byte. WCHAR T represent a wide character. Size is implemented defined, but often 2 or 4 byte is used. If you declare like this WCHAR of T, so it can write any wild characters. Boolean type, so bool represent a boolean values, can be a true or false, usually 1 byte, that is bool is valid or not. Derived data types. In these derived data types, we have the first pointers. Pointers are nothing but store the memory address of the other variables. As shown in this here, for example, we declare it as int star ptr. So ptr is a variable of a pointer type equal to ampersand of age. Reference alias for other variables allowing indirect manipulation. For example, if you declare like that int ampersand ref equal to age. So ampersand is an address, showing that the value stored in an age will be that address will be stored in a reference point. And array. Array is nothing but a collection of elements of the same type. For example, integer, the variable number of open bracket of 5. If you decide, means it can store 5 different values in that variable. So function means the function pointer allow storing address of a function. For example, we have written like this: void star function pointer. So function equal to some functions you can write. Some comparison of derived data types. Data type pointer means stored memory address of another variable. Memory usage is size of a pointer. Access method is direct access. Array is nothing but a collection of elements of same type, or it is an homogeneous element, collection of homogeneous elements. Memory size is fixed size. Accessing method is used is indexed access. Structure. Structure is nothing but grouping variables of different types. That is, it's a collection of heterogeneous data types. Size of all members is a memory is added. So access method is member access is allowed. In a union, store one of the many types in the same memory location. Memory is size of a large members. Here also member access is the access method. Enumeration set of named integer constant. The size of integer that require the memory, and name access is name constant is used for accessing method. Thank you.